Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that a single thought could change your entire reality. No effort, no waiting, just a quiet, powerful shift. Welcome to the Wealth Identity Podcast. My name is Agnes, and today we're going to talk about exactly that. Here on the Wealth Identity Podcast, we explore the journey from effort to being, where wealth isn't just about money, but about inner abundance, freedom, and peace that naturally reflects into our outer lives. Inner wealth means feeling at ease and joyful inside, and outer wealth is just that mirrored back in our relationships, our opportunities, and every area of life. We are here to bridge you from the world of doing into the world of simply being who you truly are. Today, I want to talk to you about something that completely changed the way I understand manifestation, assumptions, and why so many things should work but don't. And I want to start with a story. Not because stories are inspiring, but because this one shows the difference between effort and truth in a very clean way. Back in 2006, when The Secret first came out, I was dealing with a chronic illness that had been with me for almost 2 years. I had tried everything: doctors, treatments, alternative approaches, and nothing had worked. I was tired, frustrated, and honestly, I had reached that point where you stop expecting anything to change. One Sunday, I bought a book. And the very next day, I was sitting in a doctor's waiting room reading it. And there was one sentence, just one, that said something like, "You can change your reality right now by assuming it is already done." And something happened in me, not emotionally, not dramatically. It wasn't a big moment, it was quiet. I closed the book and I said, once, very calmly, "I'm completely healthy now." That was it. No affirmations, no repetitions, no trying to convince myself, no waiting for proof. I walked into that doctor's office as a healthy person, and my symptoms stopped that day. They never returned. Now, here's the important part. For years after that, I tried to recreate that experience, and I couldn't. I used affirmations, visualizations, mental techniques, and nothing worked the same way. And that's where the confusion started, because on the surface, it looked like I had done the same thing. I said the words, I imagined the outcome, I focused on health, but the results were completely different. And this is where I want to slow things down, because this is where most people get stuck. The difference was not the words. The difference was not the technique. The difference was not belief. The difference was effort. That first time there was no effort, no trying, no waiting. I wasn't using the assumption to get something. I wasn't trying to change reality. I simply accepted something as already true, and that's the part that's usually missing. Most people think assumptions work when you repeat them enough times, when you convince your mind, when you override doubt. But that's not assumption. That's persuasion. And persuasion always comes from the identity of someone who doesn't have it yet. When you're affirming, reaffirming, correcting your thoughts, watching your mental diet, fixing your reactions, there is a hidden identity underneath all of that. And that identity is, I'm not there yet. So the subconscious doesn't hear, your words, it hears your position, it hears effort, it hears waiting, it hears tension. And that's why so many people say, I've done affirmations for years and nothing changed. I visualize every day, but it still hasn't manifested. I know the theory, but it doesn't work for me. It's not that it doesn't work, it's that the state from which it's done is still one of lack. Assumption is not something you do, it's something you rest into. When I said I am healthy now, I wasn't checking my body afterward. I wasn't monitoring symptoms. I wasn't asking, is it working? There was no follow up because the moment you check, you're back in effort. And here's the uncomfortable truth, but also the freeing one. You cannot assume something you are trying to get. You can only assume something you allow to be true now. That's why effort kills manifestation. Not because effort is bad, but because effort belongs to an identity that hasn't arrived. This is why Neville eventually stopped teaching techniques. In the beginning, he taught imagination, revising the past, repetition, living in the end, and so on. But toward the end, he kept pointing to one thing. I am. Not I will be. Not I am becoming. Not I am affirming. Just I am. Because the moment you are resting in being, reality reorganizes on its own. And this is the part that's hard to hear when you're still chasing freedom through achievement. Because most of us were taught that freedom comes after success, after money, after the business works, after the manifestation shows up. But what I discovered painfully through burnout is that freedom is not the reward. Freedom is the starting position. I spent years believing that if I just mastered manifestation, built the right business, healed enough, learned enough, reprogrammed enough, I would finally arrive. And I didn't. I just got more tired because I was trying to arrive somewhere I was meant to start from. And this is what I want you to gently consider today. What if the reason your affirmations don't work is not because you don't believe enough, but because you're using them from an identity that's still trying to get somewhere? What if the reason manifestation feels exhausting is because you are trying to change reality instead of noticing who you're being? The moment you stop trying to move reality and instead allow yourself to be the one for whom it's already normal, things shift quietly, not magically, naturally. And this doesn't mean you stop living, acting, creating, or building. It means you stop using action as proof of worth. You stop proving, you stop convincing, you stop efforting your way into peace. And from that place, life becomes responsive. So if you've been wondering why something should have worked by now, why you know so much but feel stuck, why you feel tired of fixing yourself, this is not a failure. It's an invitation. An invitation to stop doing manifestation and start noticing who you are being while you do it. Because assumption works once and it works effortlessly. And if it hasn't felt effortless, it's simply showing you that you're still trying to get somewhere. And you don't need to get there. You need to rest. That's where the shift happens. In the next episodes, we'll go deeper into this. We'll talk about identity, money, worth, and why effort and awareness can't coexist. But for today, I want to leave you with this. You don't need to repeat the assumption. You don't need to force belief. You don't need to fix yourself. You need to notice the moment you stop trying, because that moment is where reality finally listens. If this resonates with you, I would love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to comment, subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes, and share this with anyone who you think might be on this journey too. Remember, you are not just creating wealth, you are discovering that you are wealth. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time on the Wealth Identity Podcast.